joyfully this afternoon, blazing the violet flame and the flame from my torch through the atmosphere of this entire metropolis. And I am including most especially this focus today of light. Dear ones of the light, the flame within your heart is merged now with the flame within my own heart. Won't you please be seated? Oh, the transcendent beauty, the transcendent power, the transcendent glory of God, which is reflected in the visible universe. How, though, shall I compare that glory with that glory which is reflected from the spiritual universe, the glory of the sun behind the sun? O blessed ones, the journey of mankind from the formless world into the world of form for the divine purposes is a blessing, for at the end of the road, when that blessed one returns to the heart of God from whence they are sent forth, I want to magnify the idea of their return. That individual is received back as a conscious victor over all outer circumstances, one who has passed through every test and who is able to stand supreme in the God consciousness attained by the proper and correct use of the free will. Do you see, blessed ones, how that mankind are vested with garments of immortal light substance and sent forth as a spiritual being from the heart of God, and then begin their journey back to that heart through little tiny temples of clay, animated by the divine spark within, and passing through a series of experiences which comprise a saga, a magnificent drama of the diamond-like perfection which molds and shapes the destiny of a human soul, become divine by the pressures of the light, manifesting through a series of outer experiences, and destined to bring that one to a position of authority where they are able to exercise the great law of life, similar to that which I hold in my arms, which declares, I am the law. You, blessed and beloved ones, are the law in your own world, and when you take dominion over that outer form and world and command, saying, I am the victor, I am the fullness of God, I am the perfection of God made manifest, I tell you, outer conditions will tremble, for the power within you is the flame of Almighty God. It is the flame of divine domination by which every ascended being exercised their supreme authority over life, and life obeyed, for life could do no less. For obedient substance is obedient substance, and unless it is composed of the authority of the flame itself, it must obey. The flame, beloved ones, is the Son of God. It is the election of God. It is the Christ of God. It is the power of God unto salvation to everyone who accepts its use. And it is the flame which takes dominion over all created substance and brings that substance under its control and molds it as a potter molds a vessel until it is shaped in the beautiful, pristine purity which the Father, the Master Potter, has conceived originally. You have heard, beloved ones, of the doctrine of original sin. I am the spokesman for the Karmic Board, and I tell you, beloved ones, there is no such thing as original sin, for God did not create it. The cosmic masters did not create it, and I think that it has never been created. Original sin, beloved ones, is a figment of the human imagination. That which is original is purity. It is the law of life. It is the law of eternal perfection, and it is that which was intended to act in the world of man as it acts in the universe. Mankind, because they are somewhat, at times, and I ask your pardon in advance, mimics, are inclined to exercise their power of mimicry and to cry out and repeat ideas of imperfection which they have heard from their youth onward. But I would like to point out to the student body and to mankind at large that they will never know their perfection and the freedom of their own God liberty until they cast off the garments of outworn human ideas and put on those divine ideas which are the vestments of heaven. The hour of perfection is at hand, but the drama of life, the saga of mankind's perfection, is a long history if viewed through the eyes of temporal individuals, of individuals who think of themselves as though they begun to exist a few years ago, who think of themselves as occupying so much space, as having a certain atomic density and weight. Those individuals may find it difficult to conceive of their cosmic mission. Their cosmic purpose becomes thwarted. It is compressed into a tiny seed. It is like a walnut within a shell. And it is needful for them to crack the shell of density that composes the smallness of the idea that they are a tiny individual dwelling in a little body with limitation, and to realize in the name of God, in the name of cosmic liberty, that they have a right to demand their freedom and perfection, that this world has a right to call to the heart of Almighty God and demand freedom from the oppressions fostered by human ignorance, which has spread a pall of darkness over the nations and the hearts of its people, which has caused untold human misery, which has created all ignorant conditions, all malicious conditions, all vicious situations, and never, I repeat, in all eternity, will it free this world. The world can never know its freedom by accepting the imposed conditions of human consciousness upon it. The world can only know its freedom by accepting the power of its divine perfection and the flames of freedom. My torch, which I hold in my hand, that is, I refer now to that magnificent image which resembles me. That torch, blessed ones, in that image is at spiritual liberties, at spiritual levels, a symbol of divine liberty. You, blessed ones, as you begin to think upon the meaning of a flame of liberty, must recognize that God is the central power and radiance of every flame. You must recognize that a flame is composed like a flower of a central sheath, and that around that there are many outer sheaths of flaming substance, each one functioning for a specific purpose. The liberty flame is no different. Blessed and beloved ones, the liberty flame embodies the qualities of all of the other flames: the flame of freedom, the flame of resurrection, the ascension flame, and this is true of all the flames. They contain within them, because they are composed of divine substance, the qualities of God. And through the use of one flame, you are able to increase the divine powers within your world of all the flames of freedom and peace and abundance, and you are able to receive your own God-given freedom in the light. I would like you to pause now, blessed ones, in your thinking of my message. And I would like each one of you to raise your right hand of authority and hold it up toward your own presence and say within yourself, O my own beloved God presence, thou power of light in all worlds whatsoever, illumine the torch of my being with thy own flaming substance. Give me the power to exercise the flame of liberty day by day in my world. Let my mind know the great God feeling of liberty and freedom to act in a divine way. Let my heart feel the flame of liberty pulsating out with the beat and rhythm of the universe. Let me accept the fullness of thy perfection and have the liberty of God. For truly the Lord is the Spirit of liberty, and truly wherever his Spirit is, there is liberty. I am liberty. Blessed ones, accept this idea and bring your torch now to your hearts, and hold your torch at your heart's door, and declare as the words are recorded within that statue, I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Beside the golden door of your own heart is the place where the flame of liberty exercises its first dominion. It rules within each individual life stream. Each individual life stream takes their authority over their own world, and they do not begin to correct their neighbor, but they first take out from within their own world by the flame of divine liberty those qualities which are incorrect, and they adjust their affairs by that flame, and then by example they spread the illumination of God throughout the universe, and they are living examples as was the Christ and every ascended master. Your beloved Saint Germain, one whom I love so much, I tell you that magnificent being spread his light throughout the entire continent of Europe, and then throughout America and the heart of the world. Your Saint Germain today rules as king for 2,000 years as the Chohan of the seventh ray. Is he not a magnificent soul? I pay him tribute today. Think, beloved ones, of the wonderful radiance of freedom which emanates from that great soul. Beloved Christopher Columbus, beloved Francis Bacon, the beloved prophet Samuel, behold in him all of them and many more magnificent embodiments, all dedicated to the freedom of mankind. He served this planet without ceasing for thousands of years and suffered untold tortures in his physical form and mind to bring forth divine ideas. And today he stands the living embodiment of eternal freedom. I salute him, as do you. Thank you, beloved ones. Won't you please be seated? Approaching as we are the season of Easter, I, the goddess of liberty, wish to state before you today that dangers have threatened the peace of the world of great significance and unknown to the masses of people. We have constantly stood alert to guard mankind against impending dangers and threats, and we will continue to exercise the authority given to us by the great cosmic law. But we urge every one of you diligently to take heart over every condition in your world that may seem to dominate you, and to recognize that the time is at hand when a unity of hearts is needed. A time is at hand when the family of nations must assimilate the law which is manifesting in the floral kingdom. Every flower breathes its fragrance, beloved ones, into space with no sense of competition. I want you to think about that. For the very atmosphere is illumined with the floral substance and perfume which, blessed and beloved ones, is used by the angelic host in order to purify the feeling world of mankind. How many knew that? I think few in the outer world today have any idea of the spiritual use of perfume. And, blessed ones, this is why fragrance is so beloved and so much a delight to the ladies and the gentlemen of the world, because perfume, beloved ones, if it be pure and taken from the flowers without a misqualified human action, mind you, is so delightful that it draws the angelic host and cosmic beings around you. And it is this magnetization of their force field around you which gives you a feeling of purity and loveliness. Oh, that mankind would understand the meaning of their cosmic liberty and their power to exercise dominion over nature and to express as nature does the wondrous plans of God. Blessed and beloved ones, you may not now realize that I am the spokesman for the entire karmic board for this earth. Many of you do. I would like to point out to you today that the golden age is at the very door. Many in consciousness have passed through the portals into the golden age of peace and enlightenment. Outer manifestations mean nothing. The man Khrushchev in the Kremlin means nothing to those of the karmic board. He is simply a figurehead of human recalcitrance. And he will dissolve as a piece of wax before a flame when the power of Almighty God and the Spirit of liberty stirs the hearts of the world's people to overthrow and to cast off the idea of greed and possession. There is, beloved ones, a cosmic abundance upon this planet. We have caused conditions in China and parts of Russia to be very dire over the wheatlands of those nations because of their godless rejection of Almighty God. But, blessed and beloved ones, it is needful for the free world, and it is needful for the religious bodies of the world to understand the need for unity and not to wrangle within themselves. In the name of God Almighty, when the religions of the world insist upon scrapping with themselves, and I choose to use one of your own words, beloved ones, how in the name of Almighty God can peace ever manifest upon earth in the body politic of the world? Men like General Lafayette, General Washington, are needed today to lead this great nation and all the nations of the world to an understanding of what it means to be a foreigner in search of freedom. I have observed countless tens of thousands and teeming millions come to this shore with hopes in their hearts. They have gazed upon my image in New York Harbor, and their hearts have been lifted in hope to come here and find crime and graft and corruption and a scramble, beloved ones, which is maddening to the mind. A recent report has been released in this city which has revealed to the people that 4 out of 5 of the people in the city of New York are suffering from a mental condition. Beloved ones, this is a deliberate work of the money beast, and it is the money beast which dwells of the etheric creation over this city. The greed of the people of Manhattan, which has poured out into the atmosphere and struck its tentacles into the heart of this city, which has caused this condition, which has plagued the people and caused them to suffer from this mental condition. Blessed and beloved ones, in the name of cosmic freedom, can you wonder that I am here today? I am here to cut these people free. I am here to cut them free from the domination of the money beast and the war beast and all of the beasts which are created out of human bestiality, misqualified energy, the breath of mankind taken within them, the flame within their heart, and then the misqualification of that flame by imposing lust and greed and thirst for power and thirst for vengeance and confusion in all human qualities upon the pure divine substance of God, and then breathing it out into the atmosphere as hate against individuals. Why, blessed and beloved ones, they could not really hate the individual if they would see the Holy Christ self of that individual pulsating in the atmosphere above them. How could they hate them? I think they would not. But in human ignorance they do. And it is in their ignorance that they misqualify the energy and send it forth. But it is in soul illumination and the light of truth that I invoke now upon this platform by my side the presence of Portia, the goddess of justice, to my right, and beloved Pallas Athena, the goddess of truth, to my left. The radiation of those great beings is now pouring through this atmosphere of this room. And so, from this place in Harlem, a part of the city not quite so attractive to some of the people of this nation, from this place shall flood forth this day the light of truth and the light of justice. And in the name of Almighty God, God who invests every place where he stands with his own radiance, shall pour out mercy and grace and truth and power and liberty to the people of the entire planet. And the ray of light that I am anchoring this day, by the power of the karmic board, by the power vested in me, is a transcendent light that I hope will be seized upon by the appreciative and grateful people of this world, so that at Easter time the resurrection of the Christ-illumined love of a planet will arise, and mankind's love for one another will increase beyond all expectation. Then I think the tired, huddled masses that yearn to breathe freedom, that learn to know the meaning of liberty, will rejoice. And I think that at inner levels, if you could gaze upon their faces and behold how hope is changed and blossoms and expands and scintillates until hope becomes faith, and then draws forth by faith charity, you would realize that faith, hope, and charity are steps to God, each one steps of power, of illumination, and of divine love, sealing all within the heart of their own threefold flame of devotion that knows not but love, love, and more love. Oh, blessed and beloved ones, love is not an empty word. Love is not a vain idea. It is the very horn of abundance for this planet. It is the cornucopian source from whence human abundance springs. And it is able today to invest you with all of the needs that your souls may ever crave, and give you such happiness and peace as is only known at our level. I shall not weary you, blessed ones. I shall not weary you, for I am about to take my leave of you. But before I go, I ask the angels of Saint Germain, the angels of freedom, and the mighty Elohim Vista to together function in your finer body, and to make it possible for you at inner levels to perceive the transcendent action which has taken place this day for this city and the world while I am speaking. Some of you may be able to quickly catch a glimpse of the violet fire angels. Others, by reason of density within your being, may find a great delay. But for all, I have invoked it. And sooner or later, now or in days to come, the action I have called forth this day shall by cosmic law be made manifest unto you, and there is no power in heaven or earth that can change that condition. Only by your free will can you abort it. And I give you that also. If any of you choose to do so, take it. I give it to you as a gift with my love. We are cosmic beings. We do not impose ourselves upon anyone. We are cosmic beings, and we know the meaning of freedom. We have taken our energy in blazing light, the energy of God, the purity of God, and we have come forth this day. There is a great one, a very great one, who was to accompany me today and speak to you, one who has never come forth. But for cosmic reasons he shall remain temporarily behind the veil. I expect at another date that he shall step forth. And when I acquaint you with him, I am certain that a revelation will come to all. Blessed ones, as that blessed soul was so quick to catch the flag which has fallen, just for an instant, so may you be alert to catch my words and realize the inner meaning of those words. Alertness and quickness is needed today, and speed, in order to save the world from all of the conditions which ignorance has imposed upon it. Alpha and Omega, O thou Supreme Father, radiate thou unto these thy children the fullness of that which is thyself. Thou mighty I Am Presence, thou divine austerity which enfolds all in cosmic fatherhood and motherhood supreme, and invest thy children with thyself, convey to these the full feeling of thy love for them, and let them never again feel the scantness of want. Let them feel thy eternal love poured out within them daily, and let it be a boon to their ascension and reunion with thee. O joyous Father of lights, the entire karmic board kneels before thee in supreme adoration. We live to carry out thy mandates. Come thou then, and express thyself through all cosmic beings. We adore thy radiance. We are but reflections of thyself. Let these know also that they too shall be one day the fullness of all that God intends to bestow upon them. Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard this call and answered. In thy name I am. May the victory and the peace of this morning enter into your hearts, beloved people of this planet Earth, and may you know and feel with all of your hearts the words, I am a son of God. May you sense the power of your own victory, which gives to every one upon earth the fullness of their victory. I would like to remind you, blessed people of this planet, that a rose bud is enfolded within a shield of green before opening, and so mankind have been enfolded in the greenness of their own ignorance, and they have not known or perceived the fullness of that which shall be. For that which shall be is their own victory, pushing forth and manifesting through their bodies, through their minds, and through their entire being. A spirit of victory is the Spirit of God, for God is victory, and Christ's victory, which is commemorated in a sense each year by the renewing of life, perpetually made manifest in the rise of the crocus and the daffodils and the flowers from their beds of slumber, is the manifest token to mankind of the beauty of their own divinity, whose mighty onrush of perfection and power is the heritage and inheritance of all life upon this planet. I am victory, and I have never known anything else for a tremendous era of time as reckoned by mankind, but a spirit of absolute victory. I do not know the meaning of defeat. I do not know the idea of less than absolute perfection, and I desire this morning to convey to you the idea of your own victory, the idea of your own perfection as a condition into which you will enter, as a spiritual symbol of that victory. I ask the builders of form this morning to construct a wreath of victory, composed now of the delicate green which is surrounding the people of this area in manifest nature. And I ask that this laurel wreath of victory rest upon the brow of every sincere Chela in this place and throughout the planet Earth. I then ask you to envision for a moment what will take place when that specific laurel wreath of your victory, which is now placed upon you, is changed by divine Christ illumination into the golden substance of your victory. You will then wear your own golden crown of Christ victory, because by the power of illumination you will have drawn forth from the Godhead the necessary and required power to exercise dominion over your four lower bodies and your own life stream, until you will walk a Christed way into the realm of absolute perfection. Entering into that Christ perfection, illumination, and love, you will be crowned with not only the laurel wreath of attainment as a disciple, but it will be turned in this golden age to a crown of victorious golden achievement for the golden age. This is my gift to you in memory of this precious spring, in memory of the springtide, in memory of the raising power that elevates and lifts man from a mere idea into the perfection of the Creator. Beloved ones, you first must recognize that the Creator conceived of each one of you as a divine idea of His own perfection in His mind, and that this idea, rushing forth into time and dimension, designed by God to assemble all the facets of its own pristine purity and to cause that power to manifest its own divinity, did not by reason of its misuse of free will. And so the victory God intended for man did not manifest, but now shall, in the golden age of life's perfection, when the fulfillment of those prophecies that state that the lion shall lay down with the lamb shall come to pass, and mankind shall perceive the taming of the lion part of their nature, and the assertion of the power of the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sins of the world, to harmonize with the fierceness which mankind have drawn forth and charged forth into the world and atmosphere today. All of this shall be transmuted and changed into the peace of God which passeth understanding. I would like to recall to your mind the power of victory which beloved Jesus exercised from the ship when He commanded the words, "Peace, be still," and immediately there was a great calm. This is the power of having and manifesting a momentum of cosmic victory. Because beloved Jesus communed with His own mighty I Am presence and was completely and wholly identified with the Father, which is the I Am presence of each one, He was able to draw forth that great sea of quiescence around Him, which poured forth and calmed the raging seas of outer manifestation. So individuals who love God enough to recognize their own victory as God's intention for them will procure from the Godhead not only by a divine demand, but by the power of a divine command, the power to still the raging turmoil that may be in manifestation around them. This is the will of God, that man shall attain his Christ victory, and that having attained it, he shall cause all the devils of human fear to tremble, because he is able to maintain absolute God control over all the elements in his world. I pause now, beloved ones, for I am determined to call forth my legions of cosmic victory and ask them to bless all of you who are here this morning with a sense of the victory of the ascended Jesus Christ, with a sense of my own victory, and above all, with a sense of the universal victory outpouring from the great central sun. For there from the heart of Alpha and Omega this day, there pours forth unto all universes without end the sustaining vibratory action of their victory made manifest. Blessed ones, do you realize the meaning of that victory? Then accept the gift, the precious gift of the angels of victory that shall now bless you. Blessed and beloved ones, I want to speak to you now concerning the perfection and the perfect plan of God for every life stream. Individuals are so prone to imitate. They are so prone to imitate human discord which they perceive around them, and it is this very action of their minds, the mimicry of human ideas and visualizations, that has caused them all their difficulty. When they lost sight and power to see into the octave of their own spiritual perfection and become identified with their own inner divinity, at that precise moment they were only able to perceive the outer in action, do you see? And perceiving only the outer, then, blessed ones, they were unable to hold the image of Christ's victory, which otherwise would have more easily manifested in their worlds. Some of you are aware of the scriptural passage which records that there were giants in those days when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men. Blessed ones, these are things that you ought to ponder and to realize the giant stature of a son of God, to realize the stature of your own being. You have for so long gazed into your mirrors and perceived human imperfection there that you have become habitual, as it were, to recognize imperfection. And I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, from this day forward, as you gaze into your mirror, that you perceive yourself in your Christ image. Call to your mirror and know that within that mirror itself is the power to reflect your own spiritual identity. And I think if you realize that pulsating within the glass itself are miraculous electronic particles which compose that glass, now if you call to the God within those particles and demand that they manifest their victory and atomic power to radiate forth the true Christ image of yourself, then when you gaze into the glass each day, you can in truth manifest the perfection which that individual known as Cui tried to bring forth when he told mankind that they should say each day in every way, I am growing better and better. He did not know the full power of the I am, and yet he said each day in every way, I am growing better and better. Now, beloved ones, if you are going to exercise your Christ dominion over yourselves and over the earth, you must take a hold of the energy within your being, and you must say to this energy, you are holy gods, you are divine, you are radiant, you are light, And you must call forth the magnificent Christ light of victory from within your atoms, the atoms that compose your body. You must set your minds free from all decadent thoughts of mankind and call for a pouring forth of the transmuting light of God through the atoms that compose your brain and your substance. You must also call forth the power of victory to flow through the stream of thoughts, all of the thoughts that you have thought through all of your embodiments. And you must ask for your etheric bodies to be purified and have those bodies shaken loose. And I mean shaken loose as one would shake the grates of a furnace, until all of the ash of that transmuted substance is shaken out and is no more a part of your world. And then wherever it goes, call for its transmutation and change by the power of the violet fire, until the action of cosmic Christ victory that is asserted will make your minds the Mercurian diamond shining minds of God. And when you have this diamond shining mind of God, it will, like a great cosmic mirror, reflect the perfection of God, and then you will not see limitation, death, discord, or any other condition manifesting upon this planet or any of the planets in any of the solar systems. For you can, by the power of your invocation, call forth the perfection of the universe. Mankind do not realize, because they do not understand in their finite minds the power of a light year, what a light year is. Blessed ones, a light year is the eternal perfection of God. And because of these vast distances, mankind conceive of scientific notions which are completely unrealistic from the standpoint of us who know. For we are able to say, I am here, and I am there, and instantly it is so. It is like the centurion who came to the Christ, and the Christ spoke to him and said, Verily I have not found so great a faith in Israel. For this centurion said to the Christ, I am a man of authority, having men under me, and I say to this man, Go, and he goeth, and to this man, Come, and he cometh. This is the power that mankind must learn to exercise over life, the power to call forth their victory, and to say to all conditions of the outer, Go, and they will go, and to say to the conditions of the inner light of God's perfection, Come, and they will come. And by exercising your divine authority, you will no longer be a puppet or a martinet. You will be rather a son of God, manifesting the same Christ victory which the people of the planet Venus manifest, and that which I am manifesting today. Oh, I wish you could gaze upon my face. How I wish that you in this room could have the scales taken from your eyes, as did Paul on the road to Damascus, and that you would be able to see the victory that is in my face. For I am shining before you today like the sun in his strength, and my eyes, they are like luminous orbs of cosmic fire. I am only admiring the perfection of God therein, and you can do the same within your own being. Blessed and beloved ones, God exalted in man is the manifestation of the perfect man. And you can exalt the God in yourself and have perfect humility. I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, it is only in human thoughts and ideas that individuals have ego, and the power of the human ego is given vanity and the power of vain expression. But in our octave, there is not but the absolute perfection of God made manifest as an eternal springtime. We are not idle beings. We are not beings floating in some luminescent cloud and playing harps. Blessed and beloved ones, we are doing the work of the eternal Father. We have immortality. We have eternal life. Many of the things manifesting in your worlds are manifesting above as below. Life here is not so different as you might think. But blessed and beloved ones, the supreme difference is that we know the power of eternal victory, and we refuse to accept the power of imperfection. Oh, we recognize even in our octave that there is a progressive movement toward the ultimate, for there is no ultimate even in the universe itself. For the whole Godhead moves on to a great cosmic realm of infinite perfection, transcending itself moment by moment. And there is no stopping the wheels of the Father's progress. In my Father's house there are many mansions is a true statement. And the words of the Christ live today in the manifestation of his victory over death. His victory which lives today and is today the full perfection of God made manifest in his mission to mankind as a cosmic teacher. Blessed and beloved ones, how I love you! I love you with the infinite power of your own God presence, your own I am. I love you with the power of the great cosmic beings, with the power of the spirit of the great white brotherhood, your beloved El Morya, your magnificent Saint Germain, your beloved Jesus, beloved Maitreya, and all the ascended host. We all love you, and we are determined, O earth, that this year shall be a year of great blessing and infinite unfoldment for the mankind of earth, who shall recognize their opportunities and shall lay hold upon them. O blessed and beloved people of earth, the celestial planet Venus, turning in its glorious orb, sends its blessing to the earth, and the flame of the 7 holy Kumaras is sent earthward like a giant star. May it spread out now in your midst, and blaze unto the earth the power of the secret love star, the love of God, the love of God in man, the love of God in manifestation, the purity, the holiness of the sacred fire, and all that raises, transmutes, changes, elevates, ennobles, and blesses man with the fullness of his divine stature, the nobility of his soul, the shining raiment of his garment that strips him from fear and doubt and from sinless conditions and raises him into a state of sinlessness, fearlessness, purity, exaltation, resurrection, and dominion over all the elements themselves, which were given into his hands in the first fiat of God, by the power of the first Magna Carta, the spoken word that became flesh. I thank you for your attention wrapped upon your own mighty I Am presence, the divinity within you, and I love you, I love you, and I love you, and I take my leave of you now, but I shall remain very close to you when you whisper my name. If you desire to attain your victory with all of your heart, when you are faced with perilous problems, call to your God self first and then to me and say, Mighty victory, I am calling unto you. Give me your feeling of victory. I shall be there, behind the sunbeams of your attention. I shall be wherever you are, for I will come swifter than lightning on the rays of cosmic radiance from the heart of God. I thank you, and I bid you good afternoon. friends of the ages, beloved ones serving the unfailing light of God, I, Saint Germain, bid you please be seated. How marvelous it is to see an activity of the sacred fire manifesting in the hearts of men. With what joy do the angelic host and cosmic beings come wherever there is a focus of the sacred fire manifest. In this day dedicated to cosmic freedom, the hearts of heaven are ever active, and active to bless the earth with the splendor of the diamond-shining mind of God, and the power to make men free, once again, to walk the earth in the dignity of ascended Master Freedom. There has been no change in the pattern of heaven's perfection. Perfection today is exactly as perfect as it was in the days when beloved Jesus walked the earth, and in the days when I won my own freedom. You today are dedicated chelas, those among you who know the meaning of the sacred fire, and I speak directly to you first, and I implore you to accept the mantle of your own cosmic Christ perfection, and the identification with that perfection which will make you truly masters in spirit and masters in manifestation. Today I am wearing not the usual regalia of a knight commander, but I am wearing a white garment which trails to the floor and curls gently upward with a magnificent hem of pure solid gold. This is a garment similar to that which is mentioned in the unveiled mysteries and the magic presence. Beloved ones, I would like to call your attention to the fact that each one of you are destined to wear a garment of equal splendor. For God, who is no respecter of men's persons, offers the transcendent crown of light and ascended master love and perfection to every child from the moment of its nativity. And I would like to point out that antedating the physical nativity in which a physical body is born from a mother, there is a spiritual activity which takes place wherein a life stream comes forth from the heart of God into its own virgin purity to manifest as a spark of God's holy and pure sonship. This nativity, blessed ones, is the one to which I also refer, and therefore I implore you, beloved ones of the light, to catch the vision of your own cosmic birth and realize that that birth is the birth of immortality, which can never be taken from you, for it is your eternal birthright. However, just as night falls and there is the shadow of the dusk and the approach of evening, so mankind, because of a lack of their faith, pass through that change called death, and they find that their body temples are no longer tenanted by their souls, and therefore there is no movement or life, for the animating principle of that body temple is the spirit of life within. This life, moving forth from that body temple and house, passes on into the realms of light to once again manifest and re-embody upon the scene of time. And upon this world stage all of you have indeed played many parts in the past. But I ask you now to be aware of your eternal destiny, which is to play the greatest drama, the greatest role which any of you can ever do, and that is to make your ascension in the light as beloved Jesus is and has done. I ask you, beloved ones, stop for a moment and think. What is the highest destiny which anyone could possibly manifest? Is it not to follow this great example? This beloved Jesus made his ascension in the light, and he has been called the great and perfect example. If he is the great and perfect example, and we of the ascended Master Octave know that he is, then it does follow that you also, in following after him, ought to do at the climax of your own embodiments the very act which he did For he declared, the things that I do shall ye do also, and greater things shall ye do, for I go unto my Father. Beloved ones, your ascension in the light is the most transcendent experience you will ever have from the time you first came forth from the heart of God. Until that time comes, I ask you to tarry and wait patiently for the manifestation of your own Christ identity. But I do not ask that you wait in lethargy. I ask that your hearts be stirred, and as Maury has declared, to shake out the ash of transmuted substance, and be prepared to move forward in the light until mankind en masse may receive the cosmic blessing of their own freedom and ascension in the light. Do you think, beloved ones, that mankind who suffer misfortunes and karmic recompenses which are leveled upon their heads are sinful above and beyond other people in the world who have not yet had a full manifestation of their karma? I tell you no. For the hammer of karma, as a juggernaut, has fallen upon many, and shall fall upon many who do not know the power of the violet fire and the power of the ascended masters. I ask you then, should you not bend the bow of effort, every effort possible, to see that these precious souls, whose are esteemed by God and the hosts of heaven on an equal basis with your own, ought to receive the blessing of this light and this knowledge of the sacred fire, so that they too could escape? I ask you, beloved ones, increase the diligence and the focus of diligence within your own heart, that you may be about the Father's business. How often, as I gaze upon the Chelas calling for help, do I perceive in their life stream that they themselves have been troubled and concerned about many things, and yet they have not always given all of the attention which they ought to give to their own great God presence. Yet when there is trouble manifesting in their worlds, they call to me and they say, beloved Saint Germain, take care of this matter for me. Please take care of it. I am going to park my car here. I am afraid perhaps that vandals may be in the neighborhood and disturb my automobile. Will you protect it for me? And I assure you that I have rushed forth on innumerable occasions and sent angelic beings to guard the properties of our Chelas, and yet those same Chelas at later dates have been completely unconcerned with the activities of the sacred fire for a long period of time, and then have experienced a renewal of their interests, and have once again decided that they are going to walk the way home. Well, blessed ones, let me tell you this. I am not going to hold it against you, not in the least. I assure you that you are absolutely free, as far as I am concerned, of anything whatsoever. But the great cosmic law itself must receive the fullness of its demands, do you see? And therefore I am urging you today, not for my sake, or for the sake of the other brothers of light, or even for the sake of mankind as much as I love them, but I am asking you, do you see, for your own sake, to enter into the heart of your own freedom, and obtain your freedom today by a God determination to let nothing interfere with that freedom. Once you have established that freedom which we have won, you are able then to render by the crystal clear mind of God whatever is the required service to those who call upon you. But until you have won your freedom, it must necessarily be that you will perceive through the eyes and the mind of distorted human consciousness. Now I am well aware that there are many of you who have purified your worlds to a great degree, and those individuals are no longer perceiving through a great cloud. You are perceiving now rather dimly the light of God. And I say this by comparison to the ascended masters. But I am interested in taking the strong wind of the Holy Spirit and sweeping across your consciousness and removing this cloud entirely until you can perceive the absolute freedom of the cosmic law in vital manifestation. And when that is taken place, and when that action takes place in your own life stream, I hasten to assure you that you shall never again know want. Will you for a moment, just for a moment, stop and pause to consider what I have said? You shall never again know want. Blessed and beloved ones, it is because the vital law of precipitation of all substance, the power to call forth on the instant the desires of your heart, will be granted to you, because those desires are purified by the unfailing light of God, and you will not ask amiss. Do you perceive this? And then there is a restoration of the Christ power to break the bread and divide it and feed the multitudes. There is a restoration of the power to infuse the wine with a very living power of God's life, until those who partake of even water which you would hand them will be partaking of the water of life, because it is endued and imbued with the sacred power of God. As beloved Jesus exercised it at Cana of Galilee, at the marriage supper, and changed the water into wine, so will you be able to do so, both tangibly as well as spiritually. For there is no gracious gift which the great ascended beings have today which cannot be that of any one who will exercise the diligence to receive their own immortal birthright and then to realize that it is true. I want you to know that I am here today. I want you to know that I am here. I am here. My mantle surrounds this place, and the radiance of the violet fire angels is invoked here, and their power is soaring through your consciousness, and it is even penetrating the cells of your bodies. After you leave here today, some of you will retain this for a long period of time, because you are able to drink into the sacred fire essence. Others will find an exhilarating feeling entering into their consciousness for a period of time, but as the cares of the world once again enter in, this will pass away. But blessed and beloved ones, I want you to get a sense of permanence, a sense of the power of God. The divine spiritual essence which penetrates your bodies is active at all times. Pay diligence, therefore, to that divine presence of yourself, which is above you in the atmosphere. Adore your God presence, your own holy Christ self, and you will find that it will flood you with all of every requirement that you need, and the answer to every request that you make will come in time as a matter of instantaneous fulfillment. This is not only a hope, it is a gift which some of the students have begun to exercise, and they have been amazed at the speed with which their calls have been answered. Blessed and beloved ones, do not be concerned if some of you find there is a delay, or it is not answered just the way you would like to have it. For I hasten to assure you that we are here, and we are also with you at the time that you make that call. Won't you please be seated? Now it is a sad thing, perhaps from the standpoint of mortal mind, that individuals will lack faith in our great existence. But someday those who lack faith today in our being, in our reality, will have the scales removed from their eyes, as did beloved Paul, who is now Ilarion. And then they will have the power and vision to see clearly and to know that not only are we a tangible, spiritual, divine being and presence, but we are as real can be. When that moment dawns for the unbelieving, it will be a bright day. They will find then that as they perceive the Christ of their own being, and as they perceive us, that they are entering into that which they perceive. And the action of that will cause a great rejoicing to arise within themselves. Beloved ones, I want you to obtain a sense today of spiritual rejoicing. Realize that it is the will of God that all of you should be happy. And not only those who are here, but all of mankind everywhere. If you are truly free, you are happy. And if you are happy, then you are truly free, providing that happiness is a divine happiness, which takes its delight, blessed ones, in those things which exalt, and those qualities and gifts which are the gifts of heaven. I know that many people find their happiness in the sense world, and these, of course, would not be satisfied with the gifts of heaven, for they would not realize their value, they would cast them off as diamonds in the rough. But you, blessed ones, are more fortunate. You are blessed with perception. Hold on to that perception today and forever. To perceive the mind of God, to perceive the will of God, is a passport to your freedom. Do you see, blessed ones? I wish to thank you for your time and attention placed upon your God presence. I wish to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the energy you have given in the service of the light. I wish to tell you today that this focus and this activity ought to expand, and therefore urge those that you know to be spiritually minded to attend here. For we are expanding this focus, and during the Easter class we expect to bless these people with transcendent blessings without limit. The robe that I now wear shall soon dissolve, for I am about to dissolve it, as well as I am about to remove myself from this place, for I am needed in the Grand Teton at this moment. But before I go, I wish to tell you that those of you who would like to attend a very special service are welcome this evening to attend that service in the Grand Teton, which we are preparing. This is not a regularly scheduled service in the outer. It is a service in the inner, which is connected with the destiny of the United Nations, with the destiny of mankind's experiences in getting along with each other around the world. In other words, divine harmony. And the Ascended Masters are working today with beloved Sanat Kumara and the Holy Kumaras from Venus. We are anticipating a sacred service this evening, and we invite those of you who are able to understand the methods to come as you fall asleep this night and be a part of that service. It will only do you a great deal of good. As you would say in your own words, it would do us a world of good. I thank you now, and I take my leave of you, asking that the mighty I Am Presence surround you with its radiance. O thou wondrous, unfailing light of God, thou pure Christ image of all mankind, I invoke thy manifestation for each of these thy children. I call for the instantaneous purification of the thoughts of their world that are not the highest. I call for the instantaneous purification of their thoughts that come over from past embodiments, and I ask that there be an action of the sacred fire of the coal of heaven upon their heads today, that which shall bless them and shall make them radiant manifestations of the Christ image. May their auras receive the diamond shining mind of God to be endowed with the realization of their Christ image, and may it be held within their consciousness and heart. May the liquid light from our octave feed their souls with manna and with the sacred Eucharist of God, that all may come in due order to a place of complete freedom to wear a robe such as I am now dissolving in the sacred light of God. Peace be unto all in the name of the ascended Jesus Christ. Thank you, and good afternoon. today is the mighty Elohim Vista, known to many of the students as Cyclopeia, the all-seeing eye of God. O radiant Son of immaculate purity, how shall I describe to the mankind of earth the magnificent vision of the Eternal One? With what worded description, with what cosmic feeling, with what outpouring of glory shall I describe to mortal concepts and to mortal mind the great outpouring of the light of God which never fails, which is the all-seeing eye of God? Have you, blessed ones, ever stopped to conceive for a moment that the all-seeing eye of God is light? Have you stopped for a moment to consider that where the vision of God penetrates, there is no darkness? There is only the ineffable light of God shining forth and giving glory to all life with which it comes in contact. I am Vista. Many of you, in your mortal thoughts, have conceived of a beautiful view. I ask you now to conceive of God's view of the world. I recall some years ago, as I tuned in upon the thoughts of different mortals, I was somewhat amused, for strange though it may seem to you of earth, we of the Elohim are able to at times find amusements in some of the pursuits of mankind. And I recall that one individual in particular was thinking in terms of a bird's eye view, and because of my own masterful thoughts of the perfect mind of God, my thoughts about the God-eye view, I was somewhat taken aback for a moment, and I was very greatly amused at this concept, which is not uncommon, but nevertheless, although it is not uncommon to mankind, it is very uncommon to those of the ascended host. For this is the distinct difference between individuals upon this planet who are dwelling in limitation and limited concepts, and those who have not only won their ascension, but are manifesting the pure and perfect knowledge of God, and are expressing the light and the love and the beauty and the purpose which God intends. Do you see the difference, beloved ones? How that mankind's view, which may seem to be quite extensive at times, especially when that individual is orbiting the earth, is quite expansive. But when one is able to enter into the heart of their own God presence and perceive the view from their presence, they will perceive that all is light everywhere, a splendid light in which is manifest myriad colors and forms, desires and ideas of the mind and heart of God. Also, many years ago, when attuning with individuals upon this planet, I particularly noticed their strange limitations in connection with God. Some individuals had the idea that God, because of his intense purity, was one magnificent sea of light with no differentiation whatsoever. They conceived the idea within their consciousness that there would be absolute purity in the color of white in the mind of God. Little do they realize that God is creating constantly new and changing forms, worlds without end, and that the universe is a vast sea of light. Even where mankind perceives shadow, light is manifesting, and light is everywhere. It is simply a requirement of each life stream that that life stream shall perceive the light of God and shall know that God is everywhere, and shall sense it for themselves that will cut them free from human limitation and the ideas which are only the limited expressions of human vanity. Now, we in no way are poking fun at the mankind of earth who are not yet ascended. It is simply that we would rather by far have them aspire to express more noble ideas. And therefore, we speak to you today about these matters, that you may realize that you must lift yourselves, as it were, by your own bootstraps into your own ascension in the light. Have you ever stopped, blessed ones, to consider that you yourselves must make the intelligent effort in order to perceive what is the will and the mind of God? So many people today upon this planet have the idea that God is going to give them the keys to the kingdom of heaven, and that they will be able to enter that kingdom without any effort whatsoever. The great response to the Christian dispensation came about because mankind were seeking a world Savior who would cut them free from all distress with no intelligent effort on behalf of themselves. Most individuals today, having been trained in the organized religions of the world, are of the opinion that they will be lifted up by the efforts of some great being, and they fail completely to take into account that they must make an intelligent effort to offer themselves to their own mighty I Am presence. They must offer themselves completely to that presence, having the will to give themselves to God, having the wisdom to demand of their own God presence greater wisdom, that they might be fully illumined to walk the pathway that leads into the mind and heart of God. They must also persist in doing those things which they know will evoke from the heart of heaven a response that will cut them free from the limitations of mortal thought and feeling. Blessed ones, how shall I describe to you what it will mean? For the moment that you have entered into our state, you will need no description whatsoever. You will be a part of it. And I do not wish to now make you envious, but I would prod you with a great hope. I would prod you in your feeling world with a tremendous hope of what eternal life, lived as God intended it to be, can mean to each and every one of your precious life streams. All mankind upon earth are beloved of God. God does not make a distinction between one individual life stream and another to exalt that one above another and say, "Thou and thou alone art my beloved Son." But God in His eye of perfection perceives a pure stream of radiant energy pouring forth as the life stream of every individual, and every individual is given an equal portion of the light of God when they are first given individuality. It is up to that individual, however, to expand that portion, that talented energy which is given to them, until it becomes a mighty Niagara of eternal perfection, flooding forth the joy of God that flows forth from the very throne of God into their world and out into the world, therefore opening into view a realm of such perfection as knoweth no imperfection, as knoweth nothing except the purity of the eternal concepts of God. Ladies and gentlemen who may be hearing my voice and may conceive of the impossibility of our contacting you by this means, let me hasten to speak to you directly by a pointed ray from my heart. I am the Elohim Vista, I perceive the thoughts of everyone within the range of my hearing, and I am able to render a service for all who will accept that God is the perfect vision, and will therefore accept for themselves the concept that they must hold an immaculate concept for one another and for all life, and must cease to seek for some reason to find fault, to criticize, to condemn, to question, and to examine the efforts of live streams who are devoted to the purposes of the Eternal Father and to the services of the light. Blessed and beloved ones, let me remind you of beloved Jesus, how that he rendered a tremendous service to this earth, and yet the mankind of earth reviled him. However, as he was on his way to Golgotha's hill, many of the women spoke to him and said that they were very sorry for him for what was happening to his live stream, and he spoke to them saying, "Weep not for yourselves. Weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and your children." Blessed ones, this is the truth of God which is unfolding and is manifesting everywhere today, the perfect light of God which cannot, does not, and will not fail. Won't you please be seated? So many times, blessed and beloved ones, individuals fail to realize the great effort that heaven makes in order to lower a perfect concept into the range of human thought and feeling. Individuals seem to feel that a perfect diamond or a perfect manifestation is immediately made manifest. They do not realize the tons of pressure in the heart of the earth or the aeons of time, almost, which transpire in creating some precious form, some mineral, some precious jewel. This is true of the human spirit. It is true of mankind. A great deal of time and energy has gone forward into the creation of your physical forms, your bodies, which you now inhabit. Your minds have evolved through countless experiences, and your emotions have evolved through countless feelings of struggle. Your beloved Saint Germain has said that it is the sense of struggle which makes the struggle. Blessed and beloved ones, therefore today I ask you, because there is a slight tension present in the atmosphere for a cause which I will not reveal to you, that you will release your feeling world into a fire which I intend to release within a matter of a few seconds into this room. I am creating a giant ball 100 feet in diameter. This ball is made of ascended master-like substance and contains the direct power and humus from the eye of God. It is of such power and radiance as to be the liquid vision of the Eternal One. This vision of God's perfection in spiritual measure, in the fourth dimensional consciousness, is being lowered here into your midst and will hang suspended in this room for a period of exactly 3 seconds. Were it to hang here any longer than 3 seconds, it would be very, very difficult for your bodies to sustain or to realize the tremendous power which would be released, and therefore it shall only remain here for a very short period of 3 seconds. When I release that, I ask each and every one of you, as though you were casting all of your cares, worries, and concerns, to throw all ideas of imperfection toward the center of this room in thought, so that they are released from your feeling world, and if you will accept it, you will never again be required to have those particular feelings and thoughts which have subconsciously or consciously entered your heart this morning. Therefore now, as I extend the scepter of my dominion and power toward the center of this room for a period of 3 seconds, I ask the student body to release from their feeling world all human pressures, of the acceptance of imperfection for themselves or others, all limitation, all ideas that are less than the perfection of light itself, and to know that God, who doeth all things well by the vision of immaculate perfection, is accepting into the sacred fire of his heart all that energy to be transmuted directly in the heart of the great central sun and charged forth into your world as fresh and pure and radiant energy, which will help you to manifest as a lily of the field, to manifest the robes of divine righteousness. Now, blessed and beloved ones, in the name of God, I, Vista, release this sphere. It is done. Will you please be seated, beloved ones? Many of you are familiar with the story of the Cyclops, from whence the name Cyclopea was derived. Many of you familiar with Greek mythology are familiar with the third eye located in the statues and paintings of the Cyclop people. Blessed and beloved ones, those of you inclined to physiology are probably aware of the influence of the pineal gland located in the center of your forehead. I trust that you will realize that as you expand your understanding of the light and your understanding of the perfection of God, that there will come about an activity within this pineal gland which will expand it so as to enable you to transform your limited range of vision into a higher dimension of spiritual understanding, until you will actually be able to see the ascended and cosmic beings because of that extended range of vision. Some of you have already been so blessed, some more or less permanently, and some at times are able to see the great unfolding light of God. Now, blessed and beloved ones, let no one feel any sense of discouragement because they have not yet attained this particular vision. Just as the unfoldment of all senses required time, so the unfoldment of spiritual senses which have atrophied for a period of a long time require also that mankind shall exercise certain precautions, certain efforts in the unfolding of their spiritual faculties, so that the divine one may be unfolded within them, and they may not at any time tune in to the psychic strata where dwell mere human thought forms, limitations and feelings of mankind which can never express the beauty and the perfection of the Eternal One. Therefore, it is the endeavor of the ascended host to see that all who are here are safely guided and guarded by beloved Saint Germain, and are able to unfold their faculties in absolute safety, and therefore will come to a place where, as the beloved Christ Jesus, they will be able to meet a life stream. And immediately upon meeting that life stream, they will perceive the specific need which that individual requires, the requirements of the hour. And as the Christ stood before Magdalene and perceived in her those conditions which were less than life's perfection and caused them to be transmuted and removed, so individuals will be able to do this and to render a service for other life streams as it presently manifests. Mankind, when they gaze upon another's faults and imperfections and the mote is not removed from their own eye, they intensify that action in the one upon whom they gaze, and instead of rendering a service as the pure Christ light would have them to do, of taking out that mote from their brother's eye, they rather intensify the action which is wrong and cause that one to stumble upon the path of life. Therefore, beloved ones, there is a cosmic reason why individuals have not had the awakening of their spiritual faculties, because to awaken those faculties before they have the full Christ compassion, the compassion of an Elohim, the compassion of an ascended master, of a cosmic being, is to intensify upon earth all the wrong negative qualities of life, which like Pandora's box would rush forth upon the world to add to the burden and weight of the world and the pain of human hearts, which never was intended by God, which never can be intended by God, which is never a part of the light. And therefore this morning I am releasing by the power of the cosmic light a great God feeling of light and illumination, which shall illumine all the mankind of earth as to the dangers of entering into the psychic realm and the dangers of dwelling in the astral realm, and shall cause mankind to perceive the need for awakening a true Christ spirituality within their hearts, which enables them to look upon themselves as their brother's keeper, and to realize that their brothers and their neighbors will be kept complete in the eyes and mind of God as they hold an immaculate concept for them, and retain that concept, knowing that as they do so, they shall also amplify every God quality within their own world, and therefore expand their life streams, power to draw forth energy from God, which will help exalt them into the glory of their own ascension in the light. Blessed and beloved ones, do you see the vital facts which I am revealing to you this morning and to the entire student body in order to make you conquerors over hell and over death? For hell, beloved ones, and death are directly because of mankind's misuse of energy. When individuals start a discordant feeling to running rampant from their heart, from their mouth, from their feeling, or in any part of their world, that discordant thought goes forth to create conditions which are hell upon earth, because they disturb the harmony of mankind here. And if we permitted them to penetrate into our realms, they would disturb the harmony of heaven. But because of the great radiance and the outpouring of God's love around the central spiritual creation, it is impossible for them to disturb us. But I would point out to you one vital factor, that even when the ascended masters, such as your own beloved Saint Germain, go forth and enter into the aura of you individuals seated in this room or others, and mind you, you are chelas of the ascended host, and I am going to tell you the truth. Saint Germain, your own beloved, puts on himself a crystalline helmet of ascended master light substance of special qualities of protection in order to protect his world when he enters into an octave of earth, because mankind have not yet learned to govern their feeling worlds, and until they learn to govern their feeling worlds with invincible cosmic Christ light, they cannot realize the power they have to overthrow mankind and to cause discord to manifest. I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, when this messenger to whom I am speaking is standing here and making himself a wide open channel for the light, and individuals anywhere shall think a thought that is discordant, it may cause a temporary disturbance to his life stream and interfere with the transmission of the energies of heaven, but that individual so doing will be directly accountable to the great cosmic law for the action which they have done. And therefore I urge every one of you to hold an absolute immaculate concept and realize that you must respect the tremendous outpouring which we are doing in this day and age for the sake of the earth, for the love of God, for the love of the great white brotherhood, and for the strengthening of the bonds of spirituality everywhere upon this planet. And you must do all you can to assist the cosmic forces of light, the forces that make right, the forces that strengthen unity in men's hearts, the forces which we ourselves in heaven have become so accustomed to that we almost take for granted, but which you, blessed ones, always rejoice in, because it seems to you as a giant waterfall rushing down from above, dropping its great potential and power, its feeling of radiance around you. It descends upon you like a canopy of heaven. It is a gentle shower from above, and you are happy. But when you have made your ascension, I tell you, blessed and beloved ones, you will dwell in this power and this perfection and this beauty at all times, and you will never again have to know or experience human limitation, except a few of you who may desire to express as bodhisattvas, and you may desire to offer yourselves to descend again to earth for some specific reason, or serve another planet in some capacity. I do not say that that cannot happen, because life is very progressive and very beautiful when it is understood from our level. But I do say to you, blessed ones, that life here is a cosmic opportunity, and it is given to you as a gift from God. Receive that gift with such heart's gratitude that nothing can ever disturb your world again. And I know then that beloved El Morya and Saint Germain shall humbly, with eternal gratitude, express through you by expanding this work, so that illumination can flood through and be made known to the entire earth as to how to govern themselves and all their affairs the God way eternal, and enter into their eternal freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that most of you do very much enjoy at the present time the eating of food that is well prepared, and it may seem strange to you that I, an Elohim, should speak to you at all about food. But I want to tell you that when love goes into the preparation of food, it actually is a tangible substance which is partaken of by all. It is an inner communion, and I would therefore warn the student body against the eating of food which has been poisoned by human thought and feelings. I realize that many of you are subject at many times to the position of where you of necessity must enter into the atmosphere of restaurants and places throughout the world where food is being prepared by those who are not in accord with the divine law. But I would like to point out to you that during those times, if you will make a call to me, Vista, and ask that I shall hold immaculate concept of that food, and shall blaze my ray of the all-seeing eye, immaculately conceiving the perfect thought about that food, you will do much to transmute that and not take into your feeling world any discord which otherwise might manifest. I would like to leave you with this little pointer to show you that all of heaven is trying to assist you to your ascension. That beloved El Morya and Saint Germain walked through this room this afternoon and have actually manifested their love to you in a tangible way, even before this messenger took the platform. I therefore hope that you realize the opportunity to which you have been exposed, and therefore will find that heaven has not imposed any undesirable quality upon those whom we love so well. Thank you, and good afternoon.